Welcome to Smooth Country, Lee. It's a pleasure to have you on here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Can I just say, first and foremost, that's a very interesting background you've got going on there. Is that kind of like your man den or something?
Yeah, this is like my barn, and I've got just stuff that I've had over the years, some elk and some deer and some coyotes and some fish. Sometimes I even have a little room in here I'll sleep in, and sometimes I bring the band in here. I'll set up a set of drums, and we'll literally I got a little guitar amps and stuff here and bass amp. So we'll have practices right here in this barn instead of going to some big space, fancy space. Because, like, it's kind of old school garage band, even though I've been with these guys for, 17 years even, some of them. If we're going to learn a new set or if we're going to do some new songs, we'll just come over to the farm, and like hang out as brothers, and just do music old school.
And you probably find as well, when you're in a more natural environment for you guys, it probably sits a bit better and a bit more comfortable than, going into a formal setup. So
Right.
I guess it works for you.
It really does. And so we don't even let, normally if we were in the formal setup at a rehearsal space, you'd have the guitar tech there, and you'd have the production manager there, and you'd have the road manager, and everybody's putting their input in. Well, this ain't about that. Whenever it's band practice, it's just me and the band. And so, yes, this environment, it's like nobody else is invited. It's just us, and we can just relax. We can cook some barbecue out in the back. We can have some cocktails. We can get into a cool headspace and, create, really create without a bunch of other input in, even though those other guys are so important, obviously, to the organization and to the family. But in that time, it's just a band. It's an old school band practice.
That's brilliant, the way you almost stripped it all back and, to the good old days of how it used to be, before everybody was famous maybe, and you just hung out with your friends and sit and just see what comes out. Yeah, fun. The missing thing sometimes, fun. You've nailed it there. Well, listen, it's great to see you. And one of the benefits, I guess, of this very weird situation is, we wouldn't normally get an opportunity to see you in your environment there and, all the stuff going on. But how, generally speaking, and it might sound like a stupid question, but how have things been for you?
I find myself thinking about folks who are in, say, a big city, and they're scrunched up, and they don't really probably have much of an upside to how this has been when you're quarantining and you're there. I'm truly stuck, and I know it's got to be an extremely difficult time. And for us, it definitely hit the music industry hard, and it hit, their shows have almost all but gone away. We've been beating the bushes and still trying to do some drive-in shows and social distancing shows every now and then, but so that part of it was difficult because, like I said before, my band, they've been with me for so long. But, at some point when there's no money coming in, there's no money going out, and you got 30 people you're trying to support. That was a difficult part. But really and truly, my kids, normally through this summer, through spring and summer and fall, I'd be gone. I'd be home for 24 hours and I'd be gone for 2 weeks. Be home for 24 hours, gone for 2 weeks. And I think we'll look back on this, my family and I, and go, man, that might have been the best summer we ever had because we were with Daddy every single day, and so there's definitely a silver lining in it for me. And, we come out to this farm, and the boys have, teaching them things that my daddy taught me that, I don't have to squeeze into just a couple of minutes. We had a big wind sheet come through it and knock down some trees. Well, all right, boys, well, let's go. We're going to go cut a tree up. We're going to hook the trailer up. You're going to learn how to do all this. We're going to stack wood. We're going to split wood. We're going to go learn how to drive a stick shift. We're going to get a shovel out. There's just all the things like that you got to learn as a kid to understand, to figure out a problem, whatever it may be. And so it's been really a blessing to me to be able to take the time to really have a whole year almost going on now. A few more months, it'll be a year of this kind of changed world. But that's a very silver lining for me.
Sure, and I've heard this a lot from people too. Some of my friends, and obviously you will have heard similar. That it's been very difficult for everybody, and some people, are having trouble right now, depending on your circumstances. But for other people, they realize that maybe the old world that they had, the old existence, like you said, being a father, spending time with the kids, it almost just brings you back down from all that crazy stuff, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, and it's truly taught us all a lot of things. Things we might have taken for granted. A lot of little things, and then things to obviously to be more careful about. Even if this whole thing disappeared tomorrow, which is not going to happen. But I still think we come away with it, learning a lot, and it's really all on how you look at stuff. And this world, we've been through pandemics and all, but kind of before there was social media and stuff and everybody could talk about it, there were so many things that happened, in this world before, and we've always gotten through it and learned from it, and I think we'll do the same with this.
Well, thank goodness, like you say, for, technology these days, because we can still do stuff like this, and you can record from home, and, that stuff that you wouldn't be able to do maybe 50 years ago. I've got to ask you, though, and I'm really excited because your new album's coming out soon. And I've seen the video for Hey World. Can I ask you, first of all, was that filmed in your place there, where you live?
That was filmed right outside the door, right here at the farm. And actually, I just filmed another video for my next single down at the river down here at the farm. I filmed the thing, Boy, I Drive Your Truck was filmed here. I love filming here at my farm. It's like, because I get to just be home, and it's whenever it fits the situation, we love coming here.
Well, that song, though, and I'm not just saying this because I'm talking to you, but it absolutely nails the situation we're in right now, and it really struck a chord the first time I watched the video, and this is weeks ago, even before I knew I was going to talk to you. It just kind of hit me a little bit because the song's really good anyway, but you've just got the whole situation on one song. It's fantastic. Is the whole album along those lines, or
no? In fact, that song we wrote, and that was like the first Zoom call we had done. So that was the first time. I had never done a write over something like what we're doing now.
Yeah.
And so, but I had one scheduled, and so we dove into it, and the song came from Dallas and his morning that morning, and his son was watching, they were watching the news, and he's like, "Daddy, can we turn the TV off?" And Dallas was like, "Well, son, yeah, but why?" He's like, "Well, it's scaring me." His 4-year-old son. And Dallas looks up, and it's like this many deaths and this many stuff's coming and this stuff. It's a scary thing for an adult, much less a 4-year-old. So it took Dallas back for a second, made him kind of realize what was important in that moment. And this was at the very beginning of all this. And so we wrote the song kind of in that moment about that. But I truly think 5 years ago, 5 years from now, the world gets loud and gets crazy and gets going too fast. Everybody at some point wants to take a minute and just shut it out and have what they have. And like we talked about, and that's why that video I wanted to portray, like, Truly's dancing on the front porch and I'm with the boys. It's like, I got what I need right here. And like you said earlier, this has brought us all back to saying, this is a career, and it's, and you want to work hard, you want to put everything into it. But at the same time, like when you have a family, it really changes the dynamic, and you can easily get sucked into, I just want to go play because it's easily get sucked into that and like let your family suffer and not even know it's happening, and so again, this has been a teacher for me.
Well, you're right, and you're almost too busy just doing stuff, doing work and the commute and touring and all that. Yeah, no, you're right. And well, there's food for thought with this little catch up we're having today. I've also got to ask you, because you've written loads of songs for different artists back in the day.
Yeah.
Before you became like an artist in your own right, but was that always the plan to be an artist, or would you have been happy enough in the background? And B, when somebody does a song for you, or back then, do you almost don't want to give part of you to them? Would you rather keep it for yourself? How does it work as a singer-songwriter?
Well, I came to town to be an artist, to sing, and
right.
Even before I lived here permanently, I had met Doug Johnson, who ended up being like a mentor, a big brother. He ended up producing my first record. He's a great writer. And I knew and he knew. But he also instilled in me, we need to get you writing. I had done nothing but write by myself since I was 10 years old. And so he put me on a path of doing some co-writing and things. And so I learned the art of that very quickly and dove in really, really heavy on it. And I just happened to have a few things happen with that before my artist career took off. I was already signed to a deal. So, no, I always wanted to do that.
Sure.
And in fact, some of the songs, the biggest ones that other artists recorded, they were some of my most personal and things that I really wanted to put out myself. But at the time, I was really truly a starving artist. And so get a call from Garth Brooks and he wants to record your song and he's your hero and like he wants to put it on the radio. I mean, duh, you know. So there's no regrets in that. But definitely wanted to record them. But now I write very specifically kind of per record, like kind of when I know what I got, I know what I'm missing. And sometimes songs, even today, I got other songs cutting stuff and recording stuff. But, because like once I get past the point, like now I've got a record coming out and I've kind of got all those songs chosen. They're now done. They're out. And so I may go in and go, you know what? There's a bunch of great songs here. If somebody else wants to record this, I'm okay with that. There might be a few that I would like, nah, I'm keeping that no matter what for my next record or whatever. But it's an honor when somebody else thinks your song is good enough or fits them, for them to record it. It's always an honor.
Well, you touched on the fact that you're working on some new stuff. I mean, is that the plan now? Because obviously the fans are always playing catch up. The album you're about to deliver us is clearly, you've been working on that for ages, right? So you're working on the next thing before we even get to hear the album. So what are you up to right now? Are you working on maybe another album along the way somewhere?
Absolutely. I'm always that way. I mean, this thing was turned in and I was already on the path of the new record. In fact, today, when I get off of this interview with you, I've got one more interview and then I've got two of my best friends coming in, Billy Montana and his son, Randy Montana, Randy is on fire right now. He's a songwriter in town. He's an artist, but right now he's just writing songs that everybody's releasing. And his daddy, Billy, wrote "Bring on the Rain" for Jody Messina and Tim McGraw and Suds in the Bucket. So he's had in his own right, he's one of my favorite songwriters ever to be in a room with. So I'll be writing today, and I've got a bunch of songs already piled up. I've got my head I've got 2 albums I want to kind of start working on. I'm always working on albums, So it was kind of to a point where this one was almost finished up, and I was like, okay, so my brain is always moving forward now. Like you said, the world is just now going to be getting this new music. It's going to be brand new to them, but it's old news to me.
That's what I was trying to get to, and that's what I kind of figured out. Well, listen, Lee, first of all, good luck with the new album, and good luck with the session you're going to be doing after this catch-up we're having now, because you never know, they may be the future hits where I'm going to be playing of yours in years to come. Who knows?
Absolutely. Well, that is the plan, and we don't go in blindly. We go in and we go in, and these are 2 big old hearts that I'm going to go be with today. So we're great friends. So it's going to be a special day out here on the farm.
Well, listen, thanks for letting us be part of your day out there. And I want to wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you so much for having me. And y'all, if you ever need anything, y'all just reach out, please. We sure appreciate being on here this morning.